What's going on, guys? This is Mike with Simple Freedom with Mike. And as the video states, I want to give you my top, I'm not even really going to say a top 10. I'm just going to say tips and tricks for DoorDash. We talk a lot about, building your own income on this channel, how to live the life you want to live without having to listen to a nagging boss or, the authority from above. And by the way, if you hear my dog bark, I apologize. She is crazy, but that's enough about that. So anyway, I just started doing DoorDash not too long ago. I wanted to kind of check into the food delivering gigs. I wanted to check into Postmates and DoorDash and Uber Eats, and I just now recently signed up for Shipt, which is kind of like Instacart, kind of the same thing. So I wanted to kind of test these things out to see if I can bring in a decent income stream, and is it worth it? And what I have found is, yes, it is definitely worth doing DoorDash. I guess the only con I can think of is there is some slow time, and you have to. One of my tips for this is, you have to judge that. Obviously, your busy times are going to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dinner, for the most part, is going to be your busiest time, and lunch on the weekdays. And when you're doing lunch on a weekday, you want to be around. They have the hotspot. You'll see these little hotspots on your on DoorDash. But I always try to be around a hotspot. But I'm always trying to be around like an industrial area where there's a lot of like factories. Because that's where you're going to get your most orders. And that's exactly what I did today. I did from 10 to 2 today, and I made $65 from 10 to 2. That is not bad, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So in my first hour, I killed it. I was at $28 in my first hour. Then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but it still stayed pretty steady. I'm thinking about going back out tonight. You can easily do $100 a day. I mean, the main thing is, go out in the mornings on the weekdays, do like a 10 to 2, or a 9 to 2, so you can hit breakfast and lunch. Then come back home, take a little breather, get something to eat, then go back out around 6:30, 7 o'clock. If you want to be out by 5:30, that's cool as well. But that's what I tend to do. I don't know if I'll do it tonight, but that's what I have been doing. Your busiest days, obviously, are going to be the weekends. I even think Friday's busy. Friday night for sure. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, you will make a killing if you do it right, okay? I worked an 8-hour day Saturday last week. An 8-hour day Saturday last week. Or was it the week before? The week before, I'm sorry. The week before last Saturday. And I was able to make $134. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, I guess, but $134, it was about 7.5 hours, almost 8. That's not bad for not having to listen to a nagging boss all day. 134 extra bucks, plus that's just with DoorDash. I also have Postmates going as well. Our Postmates market is not as hot right now. Postmates, if you don't know, is another food delivering app. It's not as hot right now, but it is growing. So we'll get more people realizing what Postmates is, which is basically the same thing as DoorDash, but with Postmates, you can actually go to to get whatever they want, beer, cigarettes, you name it. It's there. Now DoorDash is rolling that out, and with DoorDash doing that, they're also rolling out a new pay model. For an example, today I got a grocery order. I declined it because I actually want to look more into it before I do it, which is crazy because I'm going to be doing Shipt, so I probably should have done it. Oh well, that's my fault. But they're doing grocery orders now, and I was like, wow, I didn't know they were doing this, but they're rolling that out, and they're rolling out the new pay model, which we'll do a separate video on, which I think is going to be better for the customer and for the for us, for the Dashers. So I think it's going to be great. I really do. From all I've heard, I think really it's going to benefit us in a major way. One of the new things also that they got going on. Well, let's talk about, before we do that, let's talk about tips and tricks real quick. Tip. All right. We kind of went over this already. Lunch, dinner, breakfast. Them are your main times to go out. Because they're the most busiest, and obviously the weekends are going to be your hot days. Get out there every weekend if you can, especially at night. Number 2, don't be too picky on your orders, but be picky enough. You can decline. Your acceptance rate will go down. But let's say that you get offered a $6 guaranteed order, but it's going to be a 15-mile, 16-mile trip. I mistakenly did that my first time, and not only did I end up which I'm in Kentucky, I'm in northern Kentucky, not only was it 15, 16 miles, I actually ended up on the other side of the river, which is Cincinnati. So I learned that the hard way. So be careful. You'll have the total mileage up at the top. It'll say like total miles, 4 miles. That's what it's going to take you. Or total miles, 6 miles. Watch that at the top. Make sure you're taking the right trips. Because obviously, second, you want to make sure you're making money. And third, you also don't want to be too far out of the hotspot zones. Because, if you're out of there, you're not going to get as many hits or many orders. So that's one tip. We went over the breakfast tip as well. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, that is very, very important. I think 3, for me, the third tip that I have found is, don't be afraid to get out there and do it. I'm not going to lie, my first time, I went out, and I broke myself in. I went out on a Saturday night, like prime time, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, and I made like $89, $90 in a span of like 4.5 hours. But I got like, the one thing I did do, and I'll add this as a tip. First of all, don't be afraid. I jumped in and I did it. Okay, I did it. Go all in. You're delivering people's food, guys. It's simple, okay? Don't be afraid to do it. I guess that's what that's the extent of that. I will say this though, doing double orders, you can stack orders. Like sometimes if it's at the same restaurant, they'll stack an order. Like you can do 2 orders, sometimes 3 orders. If it's at the same restaurant, okay, go ahead and do that. But what I did the first time was I actually did 4 orders. I stacked 4 orders. So I did 2 from Buffalo Wild Wings, which we have around here in Kentucky, and I did 2 from Wendy's, which we have to have use a red card for that. Some restaurants, they give us what's called a red card, which I will show you really quick without showing you any of the numbers. It's like this. It's literally a red card. That's all it is, a MasterCard. And I had to go in and place the orders, right? And I had all these drinks and all these Frosties that I had to get, and it honestly it could have went a lot better. So I had 4 orders to get to these people. I had to drop off the Buffalo Wild Wings ones first. The other people's Frosties were melting, so that was a little nerve-wracking. So especially if you see that there's going to be ice cream involved, just be cautious about that. I would say take 2, 3 max orders at the same time. If it's at the same restaurant, do 3, right? But if you get 2 orders, sometimes you might get a Subway and get an order, and they'll say, hey, we'll pay you an extra $5 or extra $4 to go right across the street and pick this up for Susie. Yeah, do that, because it's easy, right? And it's just extra money in your pocket. And then they live relatively close to each other, right? So I can't even say that word. Man, that's embarrassing. Anyway, yeah. So that's about it. I'll make a list of tips and tricks. You know, is it worth it? Yes, I think it's well worth it. It does depend on the area you live in. Some areas are a lot busier than other areas. I mean, for example, like my area is Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati. The Northern Kentucky area, one of our big areas around here is like Florence, Erlanger. That's bigger cities for us. Hebron, Union, Covington. They are busy. They get pretty busy, and there's my dog, by the way. Say hey, Bella. Say hi, Bella. But the Cincinnati, when you go down to Cincinnati, like the bigger cities, oh my gosh, it gets very, very busy. So it depends on your area, but rest assured, you're gonna make some money. Okay, I think it's worth every penny. Watch out. They also do peak pays as well, where they'll add like an extra $1 to every delivery. So you might do, you know, if a delivery is $5, you'll get that $5 plus $1 because they have peak periods, which is, you know, from 4 to 9, we're going to pay you extra $1 per delivery, or sometimes it could be even all the way up to $5 I've seen, which is it's amazing. Around here, it's usually the most I've seen it get to is like $2.50, which $2.50 extra per delivery is huge. I made just with the extra deliveries, the peak pay, like 24 bucks, just an extra peak pay one night, because I was doing it when the peak pay started. So you have to pay attention to those things as well. So I'm gonna get off here. Say bye, Bella. Say bye, Bella. I'm gonna watch out for this crazy dog, and I recommend it. So do DoorDash if you're thinking about joining DoorDash. I'll have my referral link below. Yeah, you can make some money referring people to DoorDash, but you know, be honest with them about some things. You know, if they ask questions, be honest with them about it. You know, tell them the truth. Don't do it just to put money in your pocket. So they have to get like 50 deliveries anyway before you even see some money. So do it, you know, 50 deliveries before you see a referral bonus, I should say. But I recommend it. So if you want to, you can click on the link below to get started. You'll see it. It'd be a DoorDash link, something like that. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. And should we say happy dashing? We should. Happy dashing. See you guys.